Main phase.
Hello and welcome. I've decided, with not much else to do right now, I will do another little stream on Twitch. And I'm going to start by playing a game with a title that makes me really want this game to be all about food. This is Hotdog Strom, but unfortunately Hotdog Strom really doesn't have much food in it at all, as you will see. So yes, Hotdog Strom is one of those games that runs on sort of cave-type hardware, like the cave shooters, but is credited to the rather anonymous Marble and Ace. So I think it was done by some developers who worked on other better-known games, but due to publisher issues and everything else, it doesn't have any big name attached to it. But how good is it? We will find out. Let me turn the volume back up. Here we go. If anybody is watching, let me know how my levels are, if they're too loud or too quiet or anything else, because it is always difficult to get it right, no matter how much I try. So let's just get my chat up. Let's get my chat up elsewhere. Still trying to figure out my way around. Yes, way around it. So create a dashboard. That's probably what I want, isn't it? And stream manager. There we go. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. We're ready. We're ready. Let's coin up and play a bit of Hotdog Storm. So you start with a nice, nice powerful looking laser. Obviously it's not that powerful, it's your initial weapon. And straight away the enemies here reminding me of the Mazinger Z game, which is also on similar hardware. So let's get a laser power, and now we've got a slightly more chunky laser. Excellent. Let's just dive because I wasn't looking at the screen. Obviously, this is not meant to be a 1cc run. This is just me having a little bit of fun with some games in MAME, and starting off with this one because, well, the title's good at least. Just wish there was more food in it. I do not believe this game contains a single hot dog. I'm not even sure it contains a single storm. It's a fairly generic looking shoot 'em up. It just happens to do what it does pretty well. A bit like some other games. There are a lot of generic shoot 'em ups that are still decent, and this kind of falls into that category for me. Hey, welcome main fan. Good to see you on Twitch. And thank you for subscribing with Prime. I mean, I don't guarantee there are going to be many streams on Twitch, but it's nice to have some subscribers. So welcome, and thank you. So I will still be using the YouTube. Although YouTube's been a bit annoying lately with detecting ad blockers and telling people to turn them off. Not sure how I feel about that, because YouTube's ads can be a little obnoxious for people without ad blockers. But, anyway, for now, Twitch it is. Welcome. So, Hotdog Storm. And you see my blue laser is now nice and, well, arrowy and big and wide. Not super wide, but it's got some destructive power behind it, hasn't it? I really should look at the screen when I play games. I do have a bomb that I'm not using. There we go. Look, bomb. And it uses the particle zoom effect that this cave hardware can do. The power systems in this is a bit different. You seem to change your side weapons more so than your main beam, I've noticed. They're not quite your traditional system. So you get the green ones, you get the green sides. So we can just support. Okay, thank you. I'm just a few pixels. I mean, I probably look better as just a few pixels, main fan. But thank you, and yeah, say it's always appreciated. It will help, I think, with Twitch showing people that my channel exists too. You know, it probably more likely to come from recommendations if I've got some few subscribers and regular chatters, so and viewers. So even if you're just leaving it open at work, that's probably going to help here. Oh dear. I've still got a bit of a cold. Let's beat the boss before sneezing. did not sneeze the boss away. Sorry if that was a bit loud, anybody. I blame the Norrec. Well, actually, I don't. I mean, if you're going to be at an event full of people, you're going to pick up a few bugs, and it doesn't appear to be COVID. So you know, I'm looking in that sense. A few people did leave with COVID. I mean, kind of against what happens at events, isn't it? But a lot of people, and there were a lot of people in a room, quite a big room, and germs will spread. Had a good time, as I said on the previous stream. I got to play some arcade games. It's a shame things like Prop Cycle that were there only worked for the first day, because you don't often get to see a Prop Cycle. So I missed my chance to play on it because the first day was incredibly busy. I had a nice Star Wars cabinet there that I wasn't expecting, however, so I won't complain. The Star Wars cabinet was not advertised on the lineup they released before the event, so to see it there was a pleasant surprise, even if that did also spend most of the second part of the first day out of action. It was back in service for the Sunday. And I got to talk to the technician who was maintaining it too, and he explained how he diagnosed what was wrong with the board and which chip had failed, and took me into his little tent and showed me all this stuff. And that was a nice little memory of the event, seeing, you know, how the Star Wars had been got back out onto the floor. Yeah, floor. Yeah, onto the floor, the games floor. Yeah, you don't see many Prop Cycles, and I guess they do break quite easily. I was just kind of looking forward to it because I'd been playing it a little bit in MAME before that for other reasons. I was originally going to include it as part of the panel talk I did, because I was going to do a section on games with cycle controls, which is kind of an unusual control scheme for a game. But due to time restraints in the actual talk panel I did, that one was cut anyway. It's sort of... I kind of made the decision to cut that when I saw the machine wasn't there, even if I didn't know the machine was going to be there in the first place, because it would have been nice to tie it in if the machine had been there, working. Oh. They missed a sheet poster? Yes. She may have had a point. I don't believe there are any hot dogs in this game. That's one of the first things I said. In fact, I don't believe there's any food in this game. I'm not even sure where the title of Hotdog Strom comes from. Nothing seems food related. Nothing is hot dog related. I don't see any mustard, ketchup, onions, cheese, bread. I just see shooty things around the planet, and it's a pretty cool game. It's got a title that makes you want it to be something else. I mean, there are bees in Dodonpachi, but no, I don't think there are hot dogs in Hotdog Strom, unless there's like a secret final hot dog boss, but I'm pretty sure there isn't. I just think this is a hot dogless Hotdog Strom. Yeah, Marble Corporation, not the biggest name, but I think this was worked on by some better known devs, just who didn't have a publisher at the time, a proper publisher, so it got released by Marble Corporation, an Ace. And it looks like kind of a... I mean, the board almost looks bootleggy, but uses original parts. It's a very odd one. Doesn't really take away from the fact it's a nice solid shooter, though. And it's got to that stage in shooters where I start to get really bad, which is, you know, in this case, stage 2. Most of the time, it's stage 1. So bombs it is. Bombs it is. Anyway, welcome, Shut Up Atom. Now, we're not going to be playing Hotdog Strom all evening. I just thought Hotdog Strom would be a good place to start. I've got a little bit of a lineup for today. I will also be revisiting one of the things I looked at yesterday. So I made a slight tweak to the code when it comes to the Taiko di Popera emulation, which makes it a little more pleasant. Although we won't be playing as much of that as last time, because I think last time we may have gone a little overboard on the music games. But it was fun. It was still fun. a bit of shooty up action, and I think a shooter that maybe gets overlooked a little because again it's got such a silly title. Lasers. It's got such a silly title that people aren't going to think, oh, that's obviously a shoot 'em up. Although being on the cave driver means it may get a bit more attention than it would otherwise. I really don't know. Certainly never a game I've seen on a real cabinet. But yeah, you don't really see much from this period on real cabinets. You just read that that the Air Force pilots sometimes called hot dogs. I mean, well, I don't like these suicide bullets. I guess it could be some sort of reference to that, but it's pushing it. It's pushing it in terms of what you expect, that's for sure. I'm sure there's some strategy to the power here that I'm not quite getting either. Could have played this quite mindlessly, as I tend to do with these games. But I mean, what period is this? It's not like a historical shooter. It's kind of sci-fi. It's still got tanks that look like they belong in older style games. Yeah, those bullets when you blow those things up are just evil. So it's difficult to pin down this game with an identity. If it actually had hot dogs in it. Yeah, I don't like some of the weapons these enemies have. They're just taking me out. I mean, that's you don't, unless you know that's coming, you're not gonna notice stay out the way of that. That's practically a laser. Yeah, a bit like Trig on Era. I have to say, at the moment I'm just dying though because I'm trying to read the chat and play and not doing both at the same time very well. Some of these weapons remind me a little bit of Viper Phase 1, this green ball here for example, that I just lost again. I think Viper Phase 1's got a very similar green projectile ball that drops, so maybe reminds me a little bit of that, but not in terms of the gameplay. Viper Phase 1 plays very differently. That's another one that tends to get overlooked, is Viper Phase 1 from Cebu. I guess because everybody just associates Cebu with Raiden. And so Viper Phase 1 is like the Cebu shooter that's not Raiden and nobody cares about. It's still pretty good though. But it's definitely got some sort of bomb with a green orb like this. A little bit slow down in this one, but not too bad. Anyway, yeah, I think we're probably done with Hotdog Strom though. I just wanted to get the stream off to a lively start, let's just say. And what better way than a shooter? Those always wake you up. It certainly woke me up. Yeah, that's the thing. It is a little bit generic. It lacks real identity. You don't really get an idea for where it's set, what the theme is. And then it's called Hotdog Strom. I mean, here are your hot dogs in the high score table, but it does not feel like the presentation here fits any of the rest of the game. Yeah, that's a hot dog on the high score table, just like there's one on the title screen. You love Hotdog Strom, do you, Mr. Fun Guy? Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty solid shooter, and it's got a good soundtrack here, a very rocky metal soundtrack. Yeah, a bit of a taco, but you want the food in the game too. I mean, it's like you want a cheat code so you're actually playing as a hot dog or something like that. I mean, that would be perfect. Outside of that title screen and high score screen, it's a little lacking in the food. So, anyway. Whew. Now my ears can have a little rest. I want to play something older that I don't recall playing on stream before. And we're going to go for a bit of Holeland. And this game does contain plenty of holes. So this one does actually live up to its title. It's a Spanish game from Tecfri, and I'm assuming it ran on interlace mode like some of the Midway games. It's sort of got that high resolution look. The sprites are high resolution, the backgrounds aren't, so I'm assuming it's an interlace game. Unless it used a medium resolution monitor, I doubt it. It's just a speech. So this one always reminds me a little bit of Centipede, except the creatures are, you know, popping up in these holes. You can only shoot them when they're visible. But they are making their way gradually to the bottom via these holes. If you get hit, you get stunned. Yeah, so you can see we've gone far more traditional. Now, it's using the speech chip for the walking sound, a bit like, I think, some games like Hunchback do. Which is odd use for a speech chip, but you just get that mechanical sound, I suppose. But yeah, they inch forward and you shoot them. And if you get hit, you get stunned. Come on, where are you? And they got to the bottom, which is bad. Centipede meets Whack-A-Mole, yes. I think I must have cleared the wave anyway. I can't really tell what the speech is saying, if it's in English or if it's in Spanish. It's a little drowned out by the other effects. I don't know what the sound balance would be like on original hardware. This level has ghosts. So, yeah, that's one thing I do need to plan, is a spooky stream for Halloween, obviously, because we are getting up to that time of year where spooky streams are needed, and that ghost is at the bottom. I got. It is a nice looking game. I mean, one thing about the Spanish games, and even on home computers, they always had a distinctive art style. You can't complain about the art style at all. Maybe the colour palette on the main character a little bit, but the background, sprites, animation, whether it be in the 80s games, 90s games, home computer or arcade, the Spanish had some good artists. They're typically very difficult games on the home computers, though. That's what they were known for. This gets hard quickly, too. So can I jump over it? I can jump over the enemy. There you go, you see. But even if they get to the bottom, you can jump over the... well, once. Game over. Jumping 2. Yeah, I'm assuming the jumping is... yeah, I'm pretty sure the speech is in Spanish. It says language Japanese. Maybe it's in Japanese. Let's change it to English. Maybe that's the speech language. Don't know why it defaulted to Japanese, but... yeah. I think it defaulted to Japanese speech for some reason, which is an unusual default choice for a Spanish game. But I've set it to English now, which makes more sense to me. No wonder I couldn't understand a word of it. Yeah, they did. I mean, Coleco also, you know, developed their own hardware and things like that for their 3D games, which is you know, quite a big deal for a smaller developer. I mean, yeah, it wasn't quite on par with the, you know, the advanced level of technology like Sega used when they moved to 3D, but to have their own 3D platforms, which weren't bad platforms at all, really, it was quite impressive. I mean, you look at something like Rolling Extreme; it's a really funky piece of hardware. Unfortunately, Rolling Extreme is not perfectly emulated yet, to say the least. Come on. There we go, I managed to take them all out this time. Apparently practice does make perfect. This is actually really difficult to see because it's dark and the bombs are still black. And... yeah. You do have to pump the guy. You have to hammer the button to use the pump to restore your robot there. So if you get hit, You don't instantly lose a life, but you lose time, which obviously lets them advance much more close to the bottom. And in this case, because I'm stunned when the ghost arrives at the bottom, yeah, I lose a life. But yeah, I never really spent any time playing this one before. This surprises me, actually, because I like to think I know most games quite well, especially the European ones. But this one's always just passed me by. I'm not sure why. Oh, no. Nope, no. No. You'll be trying this? Yeah, it's definitely worth a try, main fan. I think that the systems will take a little bit of learning. Ooh, we've got a different background now. Some spiders. Can't shoot the spiders, apparently. Well. You can't shoot the spiders that are coming down. Write your name. Yes, on the record board. That's what it said. You didn't have Spanish speech. That's interesting. So there's no option for Spanish speech on a Spanish game. I'm assuming there's a Spanish clone set. Let's have a look. Let's have a little look. Hold on, 2. Is this a Spanish set? Yes, Spanish and English. That makes more sense. So this, I would have thought this should be the parent set, but okay. So this is this set's got Spanish in. The other must have been a set for export for Japan. I'd imagine if it's got Japanese and English options rather than Spanish and English. Don't know why it's just marked set 1 and set 2 rather than Japan. I think a little more detail in the set descriptions would not go amiss with this one. Something about Mecha Fuse. I mean, I could turn the speech up, but I guess, yeah, it's probably calling the robot a Mecha, and now it's in Spanish, so I don't stand a chance of understanding it. But I do like to play things in different languages, and in this case, Spanish is the native language. So I imagine the Spanish speech is the speech they put the most work into, whereas the English and Japanese, probably a case of, let's hope this sounds right. Alarm, alarm, yes. A bit like Berserk, and that's got some, I think one of the languages on that has got alarm, alarm, hasn't it? Maybe it's a Spanish one. But you obviously can only shoot them when you can see them, which... Nope. I don't know what the faces in the bottom left are. Oh, we're already on this round. You definitely have to jump over those. I assume avoid the spiders because you can't shoot the spider. Yeah, I got hit by it. Patterns remind me a little bit of the Galactian Gallagher bonus rounds. This is quite clever, actually. Oh, but it gets tricky there. Yeah, I think it's probably the same sound trip at this chip, isn't it? It does have a very Astro Blaster sound. Very much like the CPC chip too. SP0256, that is your sound chip. But for the speech. I think the Soro uses it too, another Spanish game from Tecfri. It's always nice to have a game with a bit of speech. But a popular chip back in the day. Is Astro Blaster the same chip? I imagine so. And everybody's got their little name. Silfus. That's a cute name. Silfus. So that was a bit of Whole Land. But yeah, that's a fun one actually. I'm surprised I've not spent more time playing that one in the past. I did promise arcade games and more when I was setting up this stream, so let's go with the and more a bit by pulling out the Mega Drive and an unlicensed game. Now I'm going to run this on a PAL machine for no good reason, but this is Adventurous Boy, and with a title like that you might think this is some sort of Aladdin knockoff. This is not an Aladdin knockoff. It is a knockoff, but not an Aladdin knockoff. As soon as I start playing the game, you'll know what it's a knockoff of. Yes, it is Chinese or Taiwanese fantasy zone, of all things. Yeah, some of these unlicensed Mega Drive games are a little unexpected. The sprites move really strangely though. They move in steps, and it's one thing I even noticed with PGM games like Demon Front. Some of the projectiles move in steps like this. It just seems to be something odd I associate with some of these, Taiwanese or Chinese games. The way certain things move, it's weird. Yeah, it looks nicer than it moves, unfortunately. The way everything moves around in steps is a little awkward. But it's certainly a playable game. So I just wanted to highlight it, because I think a lot of these unlicensed games fly under the radar. I think quite often people are a little weary about covering them, because they might have unexpected and unwanted content in, whereas, you play a first-party Sega game, something that's licensed, and you know it's going to be stream-friendly. You know what you're getting. This is one of those where I'm surprised there's not an arcade version like there is for Super Bubble Bobble. Although I don't think there's some mixing, so maybe not too surprising. But unfortunately I've lost my pouch. I've only got the really slow wings. Which it's a paper hard to collect. Okay, start. But yes, the decent graphics. The tune is a little bit of a Fantasy Zone knockoff too. You can kind of tell that. Everything's a little bit Fantasy Zone. But yeah, with the actual wing pouch, you can move much more quickly. Always worth getting the stars though, because you're using them for gold in the shop. And it still says gold at the top. But, you can't farm them forever. They do decrease in value, just like Fantasy Zone. Yeah, some good sprite work, to be honest. Just weird the way lots of elements move at lower frame rates. I wonder why we're called Imagine the Region. Who made this? They might. I don't think they did, but there are some Wonder Boy rip-offs. There's that Crystal System one that doesn't quite work properly. And now we fight a giant frog. Unfortunately, yeah, the fact I've not got the pallets right now is going to make this really difficult. With pallets, this is simple. Without pallets, this is hard. Because you really have to get that wing power up. You can't possibly dodge things at this speed. So I mean, Fantasy Zone's the same really. Without the power, you don't stand a chance on the bosses. I cleared this boss without losing a life on free stream, just to test the game out. Let's try that again. Let's try and not fail badly this time. Give me the shop. Right, I can only afford the those wings. But still, that's if I don't die now with them. Stand a far better chance. Middling wings. These are still a bit slow actually. Maybe I needed the better ones. I don't know. I forgot to turn them on. Come on, let's just blast away at these. But yeah, some work went into it. I mean, I don't recognise the sprites from elsewhere, but maybe somebody else does. I don't know if you get another chance at a shop at any point. Yeah. So the music might be playing a bit slow because I'm running on a power machine. I don't know, but I find some of these games run better on power machines, and some regions of China were PAL, so you never quite know what they were targeting. It could be they intended it for playing on a PAL system. Oh dear, that was stupid. There we go, we get the chance of the shop. So, I can't get the fastest wings because they're 40,000. I can get these ones. Pretty sure that is selected. Yeah, now I can move quickly. So you really want the big wings power up as soon as you can get it. That's what just gives you a chance on the bosses, really. The gameplay is definitely not original, though. Yeah, everything's Fantasy Zone-ish. I mean, if the Mega Drive didn't have Super Fantasy Zone, this might be considered better than it is and more well-known. But the thing is, the Mega Drive's got Super Fantasy Zone, and Super Fantasy Zone is really, really good. So it's a tough job competing with that. But yeah, that is basically the frog's tongue. You have to avoid that, otherwise it kills you. So basically staying as far away from the frog as you can is the strategy here, because its tongue will reach out and get you otherwise. This is why you need the wings, just to get you that distance when you need it. You need to be able to sort of swap sides whenever it moves around and not do that. Let's move around the frog. Get home in on me, frog. But yeah, again, the enemy changes colours just like Fantasy Zone as well. There we go. Beat the first boss. Yes, you walk if you fly really close to the ground. It's there's no doubt that they were heavily influenced by absolutely every aspect of Fantasy Zone. Look, you can go into the shop and actually get weapons too. I've only been getting the wings, but there's weapons too. There's bombs as well, backfire, but you know, all the standard ones. Sing Eagle. Let's get one of those. Let's I'll follow that coming now. Let's get a laser. Let's do that. Yeah, unfortunately, it does seem to be the same music. There we go, we've got some bombs now, and we've got some lasers. And just like Fantasy Zone, it's time, so the laser's depleting the entire time in the level. I don't think the bomb is there, I think your bombs are there to last. Bombs are there to stay. I mean, it's obviously low budget, you can't expect anything else from these knockoff games, but there we go. But still, it's quite respectable. I mean, you know, there's nothing like this on the ACAN even, which is a shame. I would have liked a Fantasy Zone game on the ACAN. I'd like a modern Fantasy Zone game, to be honest. I think we need a Fantasy Zone reboot. Yeah, I think it's just going to be pretty much the same for now. Let's see what the boss is like, though. Oh. Oh. That boss took up... Well, the hitbox was quite big. I don't know how I was meant to avoid it, to be honest. And now I'm super slow. And I have no bombs. Now I'm just going to die. I think it's not going to be balanced for actually surviving if you die and lose all your power-ups. I mean, what chance do I stand now? It was a giant log thing. Not quite. I don't know how I'm meant to avoid it, to be honest. It's... I mean, I'm too slow to go past it, and it fills most of the screen. Well, yes, there we go. But look, it's got a story too, with different music. So they did put some effort into it. I do find this kind of bootleg type, when I say bootleg, unlicensed game fascinating. What are all the Koki and the Heisei and the Yi and the the laughter of Ippo. The ruler of Coco, Li what? I suppose if you speak Chinese, these names make a lot more sense. Enemy Heisei. I had to go live when you were walking Felix the dog. Oh well, you see. That's why I went live, because I knew you were walking Felix the dog and I knew I can get away with it without being noticed. Now, welcome Tara, anyway, welcome. So, yeah, this was a bit of Adventurous Boy, an unlicensed Mega Drive game, which, you know, is always the most fun type of Mega Drive games. But it's a Fantasy Zone knockoff, yes. We get to see some Stage 2. It's got a track demo, you see, you get to see some Stage 2. But anyway, that is all we will be doing of that game. Now, let's go for something else, non-arcade. And I apologise in advance. Let's fire up the Gameking 3. I'm going to have to move this window around a little bit. And this is where I start to go... Ow, that's quite... Ow. Sliding controls. How to make Gameking 3 look slightly less awful. Turn up the bloom scale to 1.250. Turn down bloom level 0 scale to about 0. Still looks awful, but hey, it's awful in its own way. Let's go with the F2 on this path.
3, 2, 1, go!
Also, yes, hello to Felix the dog. So here's some Gameking 3, the colour Gameking. Now, I know about a year and a half ago, somebody did say they had, I think, 2 other Gameking 3 games to dump, and I don't think anything came of it, so I'm still waiting for any news on if they've been sent to anybody for dumping. Gameking 3 games are incredibly uncommon. I mean, the Gameking 1, yeah, you can find most of the games quite cheap. Gameking 3, less so. You think you're nearsighted. Hey, this is the only way to make this system look almost tolerable. Make it so blurred you can't see the weird, non-standard pixel arrangement that otherwise just makes it look, well, unviewable. But yes, the Gameking 3 had odd display technology, so unless you basically blur all the pixels to the maximum, and yeah, you can't really play them not too well at all. I mean, even here you can see it's all quite wobbly because the scan lines aren't even, because they're not really scan lines, they're just sort of pixels arranged, colour pens arranged in a non-uniform pattern and driven directly. You must go home. Alright, well, take care. Take care, Tara. Thank you for dropping by. You like seeing chunky pixels? The problem is that the pixels aren't... I don't just the problem is that it doesn't really have chunky pixels. If we turn this back to normal, you see, this is what the pixels look like. They're not arranged in a usual pattern, so it just looks odd. It looks like I've got a CRT filter on. Yeah. You don't really get pixels whatever you do. So if I turn it back up again... Oh, that's a bit too high. Just mess with it until it's blurry enough to be tolerable. This was this was 2003. You hate to see the game peasant. Anyway. Ooh, 5 pathway.
3, 2, 1, go, go, go!
It's got more pixels than the original Gameking. But it just uses very silly display technology, which makes it an absolute pain to emulate well. So this is why I turned the blur right up, just so that, well, it doesn't hurt my eyes quite as much. It just looks like I've got Vaseline in them. But the Gameking 3 also runs Gameking 1 games with added colour, but more slowly than the Gameking 1, because it's actually got to render more pixels than the Gameking 1, and the CPU isn't significantly enough faster to handle it. It's an odd system that, needless to say, didn't do very well, because it was in the mid-2000s, and it hardly has any games. Yeah. To be fair, this game plays fine if you want a racing game, a handheld racing game, and can stand the visuals. Well, we'll play a little bit more of this one, then we'll probably move on to a different Gameking 3 game and then some arcades. But yeah, I do hope the other Gameking 3 games get dumped, the ones that somebody said they had. I don't even know what they are. There was a surprise when you know, people say they've got games for the system that aren't dumped and they don't tell you what they are. But maybe they're not going to get dumped because that was over a year ago now. Yeah, maybe 8 years earlier. You're right. To be fair though, I mean the Game Boy Color only came out what, sort of 2000-ish, something like that. 1999 maybe. And yeah, this is a little bit late, but handheld technology just moves so quickly. The problem is the games are all very basic rip-offs and stuff. I mean, this is Generic Racer. Rotara Supervision, yeah, that's another one. I mean, that's not colour, is it, the Rotara? Well, not as colourful. I think if you plug the TV thing in, you might get some colours on it. But yes, this was called Flying Car, or Fly Car. And, well, the car definitely doesn't fly, does it? Anyway. I don't need that. Loop, what I'm doing. So, File Manager, software list. Shall we change to... What should we change to? Search action. I got some shooting action. With some really awful sound. 1 year before the DS, but yeah. It was that period at the start of the 2000s when handheld technology started moving really quickly. Yeah. And yes, they have this rather terrible looped audio on them all. Which is what Time Pop did with the Gameking. But here we go with generic shoot 'em up. You do have some... Apparently you have some other stuff. Certain situations I can use a different weapon. Hostile. Also, your hitbox is huge, which doesn't help when you've not got many pixels to put. Hey, Mass Ninja Twitch, welcome, welcome, welcome. You just joined in time for me playing some Gameking 3. But yes, I promise I will move back to some arcade games after this. But I can't claim I'm doing variety streams unless I, you know, cover some good old handheld jank. Oh, that was out. And I do like this. I mean, this is one of those things where if you want to play these, MAME is your option. And yes, you have to mess around with the shades a little bit to get them somewhat easy on the eye. I say easy on the eye. This is not easy on the eye. The bigger the screen, the worse this looks. But I think MAME is your only option. And good luck finding an accurate system. We never said they had more than just a simple audio loop in the background. Is it actually 16:9? I believe it's something like that, close to. Not exactly. The size of the screen was measured for the driver, I think. So the aspect ratio should be correct. Yes, it's, you have to avoid the bullets entirely. Completely, and not even get anywhere near them. There we go, stage 2. No change in music, just a new background, and more stuff to see. No, I have no idea if that's a power-up or not, because it always goes off the screen before I can get it. That's a power-up, I think. And maybe I just have to wait until later to shoot it, because it looks like it's a power, but then it just moves up and you don't get a chance to get it. Yeah, this I mean, this is bad enough on the screen I'm looking at it on, which is, you know, a 20-something inch monitor. Yeah, playing this on an actual big screen would be a nightmare. Oh, I thought it was dead. There we go. Game over. I've flown into the sun and died. That was some search action. And now I will give your ears and eyes a bit of a rest and just find another arcade game to play. What shall I play? Well, let's talk about, yeah, let's talk about that one. So, Kung-Fu Taikun. I played this one on stream maybe a year back, and we got so far in it and it crashed on us. And you know why it crashed? Not because the microphone is out of control, so this game depends on the buttons, but because this set is protected and there are various protection checks in it. And so I still don't actually know if it works correctly, because the code is littered with protection checks and it's not always clear what they need to do. How does the game work? It's pairs. You knock on a door, knock on another door. There's cherries in that one. There's a bomb in that one, you avoid the bomb. Now this one is interesting because the two sets are very, very different. In fact, I kind of wonder if the parent set is a prototype, because it's got no protection and it's got a very different style of gameplay. We'll probably have a look at that in a bit too. Now, the reason this says the microphone's out of control at the start is because you actually meant to call the cloud thing with a microphone. You meant to shout it to a microphone for you get it to call the cloud, which obviously you don't do under emulation. So there we go. Let's knock on that door. There we go. I should probably not be dying all the time. Kung-Fu Taikun. It's a mistranslation of Taifu. I think it's something else. Yeah, and now you can see which doors you've already used based on them having the yellow light gone out above them. So that's this coin. Yeah, when you get the bonus time, the coins, you can just kill the enemies. But you see, behind all the doors on this set is fruit. And coins and things like that. Bananas are there. Cherries are there. I died again. That wasn't a very good one. I didn't get to the point where it crashes. We will try again. You see, when you get the keys, it puts an X above that door with your player sprite or an enemy sprite. Best I also don't know what it means. I keep trying to jump at the platforms too, which is why I'm doing badly, because you don't jump at platforms. That's got money behind it. The bombs will explode after a while too. And again, I don't know how many of these elements are tied to the protection, because it does read the protection every frame. I mean, I think the novelty of this would have been the microphone, which isn't emulated. But you actually want to get to the bonus round. Or round 2, rather. I don't really want the coins at this point. You keep knocking on the doors. And eventually, it should spawn something else. An enemy to end the level. I don't know again what the condition is for that. Sometimes it takes longer than other times. I keep going for that one. There's always a bomb in there. So... I don't know if it's time, but yeah, eventually those start to flash. And when they start to flash, it will spawn this enemy. I think all you have to do at this point is actually attack the enemy. Somehow. So if you hit that enemy, it tells you you're a great Kung Fu master. And then does some weird slot machine thing. So I got half score rate for getting one fruit in the right order. Is it based on Journey to the West? I mean, it does have the floating cloud, doesn't it? So possibly. But then you get this bonus round with the, well, this. Now, there is a priority bug here. Yeah. And the sound is now awful. But you have to shoot the tail, which ends the bonus round. If you fail, then it keeps going. Now, I think the dragon head here should be behind the clouds. There we go, shot the tail. Now we've got to avoid some birds or something like that. We'll get some fruit. It makes no sense whatsoever at this point. But eventually you get to the temple up here. And this is where it does another protection check. And where before, when I played this on stream, it crashed. Because it checks the protection there. And if it doesn't match the value it wants, the game just crashes. So I did fix that. So now it will go into the second round. It could be anything ripped from anywhere or stolen from anywhere. I mean, it's IREM, so it should be a fairly legitimate game. I mean, no, Cebu even, not IREM, isn't it? Cebu, I think. Yeah, Cebu. Sorry, not IREM. Got my manufacturer mixed up. So it seems like it's just the same thing, but probably more difficult now. But anyway. Let's keep going until I lost all my lives. Now the enemies are carrying the bombs as well and throwing them, as you'll see as well. So it is more difficult. The enemies are more aggressive. They're throwing stuff at you. Electric Eevee with wings. You forgot its name. Tara would know. I think Tara may have left. Back home. Oh yes, Pokemon. Tara's still here. Tara's still here. Electric Eevee with wings. So this is the clone set of Kung-Fu Taikun. That is the protected set, which crashed before. Interestingly, and I think I showed this last time, the current parent set in MAME is this set. There's no electric Eevee with wings. Well, maybe you should make one. So, you know, suggest it. But this version is the parent set. Okay, it looks the same so far. Now, note already, there are no lights above the doors, so you cannot tell which door you have used and which one you haven't. And behind the doors are Mahjong symbols. And instead of bombs, there's those dragonflies that comes out the door. So, yeah, this set's quite different. It's really hard to keep track of where you've looked already because, well, the lights aren't there. B, it's Mahjong symbols, so it's also less obvious. Also, they fire differently. The enemies, say it doesn't have bombs. It has those dragonfire behind the doors. So, what is this version? This feels more like it should be the Japanese version. Or an earlier version. Either way, it's a very different version. However, I say that, if we load up a port of the game on the MSX2, because yes, Kung Fu Taikun came out on the MSX2, if we load that version, this is clearly based on the second set, and this is a Japanese release. So for the home systems, they got a game based on the second set. Not the one with the Mahjong symbols, the one with the bombs, the fruit, and all that stuff, and the lights above the doors. So that makes me wonder if the parent set in MAME is maybe a prototype, because, you know, if Japan got this version and the ports were based on this version, you know, the ports were based on that version. Again, the parent set in MAME for the arcade doesn't seem to fit anywhere. Also, the parent set being unprotected is suspicious, because, you know, why would there be an unprotected set? Which, again, makes me wonder if the parent set is just a prototype or something like that. And the current clone set is the real release version, hence why this port here is based on that version and why that version is protected. I really don't know. But anyway, that was me rambling about a game I'm sure very few people care about. But yeah, the clone set, which is the version that plays like this, now at least doesn't crash in MAME when you complete the first bonus round. And that's about all I have to say about that one. Let's play a 80s arcade game now, because let's play. I think this is horizontal. Yes, let's play Tazz-Mania. Nothing to do with the cartoon, but it's Tazz-Mania, the arcade room survival game. Let's call it. By Stern Electronics. So you're in a room that is closing in on you, and you must destroy the enemies before you get trapped. Nice and simple. It's not an 8-way a dual stick game like Robotron. It just uses standard 8-way sticks. As you can see, I'm very close to getting trapped. So now I'm going to the evil eyeball room. Do I have any of the 17 Pokemon arcade games? I do not. I don't think any Pokemon arcade games run in MAME. I think they're all on far newer technology. I appear to be a frog with a machine gun, yes. Not a Tasmanian devil with a machine gun. I don't know why it's called Tazz-Mania. I have no idea. But, yes, I appear to be a frog with a machine gun. Also, the evil eyeball room is defeating me. It's a bit like Berserk meets Robotron. I don't even know what the Pokemon arcade games are, to be honest. I'm assuming they're all newer ones or card-based things on newer hardware. I've never encountered one. And MAME certainly doesn't run anything that recent. But yeah, when you hold fire, you stand in place. Yes, your shot's also wave from side to side, like a nice inaccurate machine gun. Let's exit to the top this time. I think it's the same room. It's still the evil eyeball room. This is very 80s with the sounds. But you always, got to rush. You can't just take your time on this one because the room is always closing in, which gives you less and less space to maneuver. What? I'm just collecting. Yeah, I better run away. The squid room. Yeah, no, the room's closing in on me. It does remind me more of an 8-bit computer game, this, at least the design. Visuals, yeah, you're probably not going to get something quite as fast moving on a Spectrum. The sickle room. But very simple design. Definitely less impressive than, say, Robotron, but it is on much simpler hardware. This is closer to sort of the Galaxian style boards. Not fancy glitter hardware from Williams. Probably not an all-time arcade classic, but I kind of enjoy it. I like the feeling, the claustrophobic feeling you get of the doors closing, the balls closing in. The caterpillar room. Oh, they're moving the blocks around. Those pesky caterpillars. Not centipedes, caterpillars. Important difference. Oh look, they even turn into butterflies if you leave them. That's kind of cute. Kind of cute and kind of deadly. Deadly. What's the newest game that MAME supports? Probably one of the stupid NES-based plug-and-play units, to be honest. Something, or maybe something like that Micro Pac-Man. That's, I think, from about 2019. I'm not sure. It's terrible, so you wouldn't think it was that new, but it does support some fairly recent dodgy semi-bootleg handheld devices. Newest arcade game, I'm not sure. There's a bunch of gambling games from the mid-2000s, which Might count, but again, they're gambling games. Earliest Pokemon arcade games, 99. Yeah, it's probably. I'm assuming it's like on. What would that be? What type of hardware would that be on? I don't know. Say we I mean, I can put obscure Pokemon stuff up that I can't play. Hold on. Let's do that. Let's take a obscure Pokemon break by putting a toy violin plug and play device on with a Pocket Monsters cartridge. Now, this is a toy violin, and it contains 10 Pokemon songs, apparently. Don't know if any are any good. Let's just pick one. No, I don't like the background on that one. Let's have a look at that one. There we go. Now, the audio emulation is not perfect. So, it's just some Pokemon music in this case. So, Pokemon break with a very obscure piece of Pokemon media. I don't think many people outside of Japan have the Evio plug and play violin, let alone the EM10 Anime Special Pokemon Pocket Monsters cartridge. There you go. But yes, you're meant to have a violin and play along to it like this or whatever. I could pretend with an air violin and I can't play the violin, so this is probably not even how you play the violin. Yeah, the the envelopes and everything else aren't emulated properly either. It does output stereo though, I think, so the stereo separation might not be incorrect, but yeah. So it's meant to be a violin. I don't know how to map the controls. I don't know if the violin just responds like as one button when you know, you're pressing whenever you move it backwards and forth. But the orchestra, you see, and you can choose the same songs again. I could choose 4. I don't know what 4 is, but I don't think it's going to do much if I've not played it. All you're really going to see is a background because you're not playing anything. I don't know if any mode in this actually shows you the. This is going to show me actually what to do. Oh, there you go. This has actually got the display for your synchronization or synchro on it, which is going to quickly drop to 0 as I can't play anything. So yeah, it just shows like one thing. So you're meant to do that. This is why I don't know how to map the controls, because I don't even know what it's looking for. Weird plug and play music games that sort of run in MAME, but you can only listen to the music. But yes, this was our little Pokemon break. So, anyway, let's move on swiftly. This isn't very swift, is it? Because I'm still deciding what I want to do. Yes, let's do Space Bomber. Let's play Space Bomber, which I really enjoy, even though I'm terrible at it. A Psycho. I say shoot 'em up. Yeah, it's a shoot 'em up. Kind of. Yeah, it's a bit like Guitar Hero, but Guitar Hero is more obvious in, you know, you're mapping buttons and you're mapping strum input. With that one, it's almost like there's only a strum input. Hey Dennis, hello, welcome, thank you for following. If you're in the chat, feel free to say hello. Anyway, Space Bomber, go to star. Now this one, you can shoot things, you can grab them, and you can store them behind you, and then you can use them. So I've picked up Octopus, and I'm now using Octopus. That's how you get all the points. You use the enemies. There we go. Probably a little low, isn't it? Maybe? There we go. Oh, oh well. That's a waste of you. But yeah, this Seiken hardware is great for pre-rendered graphics because it's got proper 24-bit palette. So you've got 8-bit pens for every pen. You've got 256 colour tiles, and it just makes pre-rendered graphics look good, unlike say a lot of the Neo Geo games. It's also got lots of fancy blending effects. Frog, frog, frog. Turtle. Turtles are defensive. Don't kill people in music, frog. You can. Yeah, this is one of my favourites from when I did the Seiken driver back in the day. I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, I originally emulated it expecting, you know, Strikers 1945-2 to be the only game I'd enjoy on it, and then I enjoyed some of these other games maybe a little bit more. Ooh. So we're fighting a giant Seiken. Hey, welcome JP Ronnie. You're watching last stream. Yeah, the last stream was a bit of an unexpected one. I did it like early in the afternoon and just wanted a bit of fun, mess around with a few things I don't usually look at on stream, like those music games, and also, you know, cover a little bit of music at the same time. Oh dear. That's what I try and do. I always try and make sure there's some sort of recent main development covered in the streams I'm doing. Okay, now I'm just doing terribly bad. World 1 clear. Thinking aliens should be traders, but why? Look at those clouds. We've got dogs. Not got Felix, but we've got dogs. The fire bones. Yes, okay, I died. Now, the key to scoring is to take out entire waves with the attacks, which I'm failing to do. The more you take out with the enemy attacks, the more points you score. The bigger the money bags you get on. Pick the hatty guys. Trash can Mazingasi, yes. It is rather, isn't it? Okay, you just charge straight into me. Now I've got giant piggy and more pigs to pick up. I was in the wrong place. But this is full of really well drawn backgrounds as well. They all animate nicely. Yes, you did have the slightly awkward World Trade Center picture in one of the levels, but nobody knew what was going to happen now, did they? Bunny's dropping carrots. Yeah, I mean, well done pre-rendered graphics can look good. It's just when you're trying to force pre-rendered graphics on something like the Neo Geo, where it doesn't have the colour depth to do it. That's where pre-rendered graphics get a really bad reputation. You look at something like Shock Troopers 2, and you just go, oh dear. Or, you know, Ironclad. Or Ragnarok. Yeah, there's so many previous Saurus games on the Neo Geo that are pre-rendered that just look awful. And they do give pre-rendered graphics a bad name. I mean, it's the same with things like the Mega Drive. Systems without the colour depth can't do pre-rendered graphics well. Maybe things like Vector Man tried. Had to be tried, but unless you've got the colour depth, it's always going to look bad. Just like my gameplay, it's always going to be bad because I don't have the reactions. I appreciate turtle defense though. I can do with something to attack. Ow. Yes. Now, I have seen people 1cc this before. I'm just making it look difficult. It's actually one of the easiest games. Doom Troopers, I mean, Doom Troopers at least has a gritty look, but yeah, it doesn't look great, does it? We in trouble. Activate the ruins. Now, I believe version A of this has an even dodgier translation than version B. Version A feels like a game that shouldn't have been released, and probably wasn't outside of Japan. But yeah, you have to know the attack patterns and when to use the enemies against them, and where to really where it's best to go. Otherwise, you just die lots. It's a puzzle shooter, really. Wave-based puzzle shooter, if you want. At least you want to play for score, and even survival. The not safe for work Seiken games. Yeah, there's again, I was mentioning when I looked at one of the unlicensed Mega Drive games. That is why you have to be really careful with the a lot of the unlicensed games, because many of them have content that yeah, would not be streamable. That's why a lot of streamers avoid them too. I know Kim Justice is doing her Mega Drive wheel, and she's excluded all of the unlicensed stuff just in case there's more like divine sealing in there and it's unwanted content. Yes. Well, in terms of arcade games, you've got ones with basic pre-rendered shapes like the Yun Sung game Taurus, which is like, yes, you call the game after a basic shape you could render in your 3D program, and you made all the graphics using the Taurus shapes, and then added naughty pictures to it. I mean, Taurus isn't the worst playing game from Yun Sung, but it's visually minimal effort. Definitely is. Yeah, Ironclad is really, really ugly. I mean, Ironclad is weird because the European version sets the screen super dark too. But yeah, they've lost so many colours on that. They could have done a far better job, even considering the Neo Geo limitations. But that was a bit spaceful. How have we been streaming for 1 hour 20 minutes already? That makes no sense. Did I fall asleep for an hour? Right. What shall we do? Let's look at something not arcade related again. Now, the Sword M5 driver in MAME is ropey, to say the least. But here is a game that runs on it. This is Eskimon by Takara in 1984 for the Sword M5 computer. Now, I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit because this is quite loud again. Let me get that. Now, if this reminds you of anything, let me know. You have to move in tiles. This is one thing you can't really tell from watching the gameplay of this, is you can only move in tiles. And you can't use your weapon until you've moved on to the next tile. You can also do this and flip to the other side for no apparent reason. So I wanted that. I can. And no, it doesn't invert the controls. But yeah, you can't just change direction, you have to move into the next tile, which actually makes navigating a lot more difficult than you might imagine. Apparently you can't attack things when they're moving. It's a little bit Dig Dug, isn't it? Which is interesting, because Takara did do Dig Dug on the M5. But no, I was looking at the M5. Annoyingly, it seems to be one of those systems where there's at least 2 games where the dumps look really, really dodgy. Like they've got a small header which copies something to RAM. and they don't work in MAME. They're listed as bad dumps, but they seem to have been done like that on purpose. Wonderhole and Up Balloon. So really, I think we need to find some cheap cartridges in Japan and verify those. But it appears that this driver has had absolutely no love since before even the MAME mess merger. It's a very old driver that really needs more attention. And I'm not sure anybody really cares much about the preservation of the system. Otherwise, I'm sure there would be confirmed good dumps already, but instead, the entire dumping situation appears to be a mess. And yes, you can almost pengo them like that, so it's got slight pengo elements into it too. I don't think it's very good. I mean, I'm not going to try and pretend this is the world's greatest game, because it's not. Alright, take care, Mr. Fun Guy. See you later. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. You're always good to see you on the streams. And YouTube or Twitter. No. Again, I'm guessing just based on that, not many people even play the Sword M5. I probably should be using this flip to other playing thing more often, but you can only do that again when you've finished moving on the tile. It's a very awkward game. Apparently trying to be slow and strategic is not the way to do it. I don't like this game. I mean, maybe I do, but right now I don't. I'm going to play a different M5 game instead while we're on M5. Let's play Apploon. Also read to car in 83. This looks easier. Let's shoot balloons. And apples. And get killed by apples, because apples are the most deadly thing in the world ever. Like Galapsian. No, that would be Galapsian with apples. It is just shooting apples. Congratulations! The evil apple enemy was vanquished. Apples will no longer threaten us until the next level. Oh, no apples? We've got a bit of hi-ho, hi-ho. I don't know why this is just shooting balloons, or maybe not, I don't know. Oh, I can jump up. Interesting. And I can get back down again. But why would I want to? Is it a bonus round? Probably. Is there more design to this than just shoot apples? I'm sensing this is a little primitive. Stages look fancy. But ultimately, I'm just shooting apples. Some nice jingles. And I guess we're back to this bonus round, which might as well let everything fill up. Nothing? Okay. You just stop until I start. Yeah, the balloons just seem to get in the way. I don't really see the point of this bonus round. No, the balloons don't even get in the way because your shots go straight through them. They're just bonus points. Do they multiply the score you get for the apples? Where's the challenge going to come from in this game? The apples move too slowly to be really of any threat. And they're too predictable because they only move on the platforms. It's not possible I'm going to get a high score, surely. It must get more difficult before it lets me have a high score. And then we're just back to a bonus round for... Okay. I sense that maybe this isn't a very well-known game for a good reason. It's... not much to it, is there? As long as I keep shooting them and stop things filling up. I'm not actually getting points for this. So I don't get points on the bonus round for shooting the balloons. What's the point in the bonus round? What's the point in this game? Oh, what? Oh, okay. Something happened. Is that what happens if the balloon hits the apples? Do they all fall down? Did I just find what happens if I ignore the balloons? It started doing something anyway. I'm not sure what, but it did seem to introduce a new mechanic eventually there. So, Apploon. I think we're done with Apploon. Let's have a look at something else. Shall we do arcade, but not arcade, with one of the ones I like to pull out every now and again. The Czech specific Capcom 3-in-1, where we can play TV versions of a number of classic arcade games. Now this one is really, really uncommon in America, but in Europe it's actually fairly easy to find. So you get Commando, Ghosts and Goblins, and 1942. Let's just play 1942. Now note, when this was made, they clearly didn't realise that that Capcom logo thing was meant to look different to that. It's got the same bug that it had in MAME for many years. So they probably used MAME as a reference when they were developing this collection, rather than a PCB. Otherwise they would have probably got that right. Let's give us a bit of sound. And it is 1942, but running on some plus hardware for this plug and play system. Fairly decent version, really. I think they studied the arcade code and tried to implement as much as they could correctly. Sound is a bit improved though. Then you get that tiny little loop, and it's one of those games where you don't get a bomb. It is an early shooter. Not actually technically Capcom's first shooter, but an early one. And I'm doing terribly at it. They did not make these ports significantly easier than the arcade. That is one thing to note. They're every bit as tricky as the arcade. Which is good, you don't want ports to be too watered down. Yeah, it's a very simple game, used in 1942. Nothing flashy. A lot of people still enjoy it though. Got just enough bullets to be dangerous, they're fast, they tend to be aimed at you. Which again is one of the differences with older style shooting and bullet hell games. A lot more of the bullets are quickly aimed at you in older games, as opposed to bullet hells where it's more about fixed patterns. In this, if the enemies see you, these shots will go towards you. Yeah, they did just put black borders on the side of this one and crop the vertical size a little bit. But that's not. I'm not using the wrong layout. This is just how it's on TV. We wasted a bit of screen space. And yes, the text for what it is a little bit small to read. So that's because I added the manufacturer details onto the string by the game name, and it's already got a very long game name, so it gets it. So. Oh, wait. I think we should look at some electronic games again in a bit too. I have a nice list of those. It's surprising just how many electronic games MAME emulate at this point. You can, there's all the Game & Watch ones, obviously, but so many more have just been added over the years. They've really grown to quite a collection from many different manufacturers on quite a few different CPU types too. But some of the famous ones are still missing because they're on technology that can't currently be dumped. But there's still a lot of good ones. I got greedy trying to get the power. Well, percentage 69%. There you go. Let's put some hearts in the high score table because we can. But yes. And yes, these units do save your high scores, you see. They're not bad units. It's not a bad little unit. If before we all had access to easy emulation. If you wanted one of these and plug it into your TV to play 1942, a port off, not an emulated version, but a port, then yeah, you could have done worse. You could have done a lot worse. An enjoyable version of the game. But as I said, let's have a look at. Ooh, yeah, let's have a look at that one. Like handheld toys. I think everybody knows what it is now. Why have I got the filter on? I don't think these need a CRT filter somehow. There we go. It is. Avoid the car froggy. Or Frogger, as you might better know it. A very odd version of it. Because it's the, it's one of the electronic games. I think I jumped on a log that vanished. I did. But these are starting to become really popular these days, these electronic games. There's an entire display of them at Play Expo Blackpool. And there's a book on them, and there's a panel about them, and I'm surprised I wasn't asked to comment on the panel actually, because MAME has done quite a lot of work on them in recent years. Try again. But, it plays like Frogger, which is what you want. Not very good at it there, am I? Frogger suits this because you are moving around mostly in tiles anyway in Frogger, and when you can do these these LCD type games with tile-based layouts, yeah, you can do a convincing job. I mean, you can see how the Frog always occupies one area which is inside the cars. Either the cars are hollow so it can render it in the same place. But it's still on a grid type setup, isn't it? It's actually really tricky though. This is much more difficult than I'd expect it to be. My timing's off. My timing's very off. Frogger. Let's give it one more try. These are strangely addictive, has to be said. Donkey Kong Country pre-rendered graphics. Yeah, the SNES was a bit more capable of doing good pre-rendered graphics than the Mega Drive. I still don't personally think it ever looked that good. I wasn't sold at the time. But it definitely worked better on the SNES than it could have done on the Mega Drive. The Mega Drive had a very limited palette. Oh, don't try jumping the spaces you're already in. It's one of the sad things about the Mega Drive. In fact, the Game Gear has a better palette than the Mega Drive, which is really bizarre. You don't expect a handheld system to have a better palette than the more powerful, more expensive, proper console. But it did come out later. It doesn't have a better VDP overall. Oh, look, there's a snake there too. Fancy. Yeah, better palette but can't display it. I mean, it's only got the Master System VDP or a version of it, so it's still limited to like one background layer and stuff and not many sprites. But it can actually display more colours than the Mega Drive, or from a better selection of colours. Which, it's just one of those weird Sega facts. I'm getting the hang of this a bit more now. Let's complete another level. There we go. Third level. Yeah, I mean, like all those early handhelds, the screen wasn't great, the battery life wasn't the best. Although, considering, you know, it was a colour handheld long before Nintendo had a colour handheld, it's still kind of impressive. It's just the last type of game you want on something like that is a fast action game, so putting Sonic on it was a very strange choice from a game that was work on a handheld like that point of view. Hey, that was a bit of the Coleco version of Frogger from 1982, which is a fun little system, really. A fun little game. I suppose if we're doing Frogger type stuff, we shouldn't we? And we were talking about the Mega Drive. This is Ribbit. Story of Bull and Pip, a perilous journey without a doubt. So this isn't officially a sequel to Frogger, because for one, Sega didn't actually make Frogger. Frogger is a Konami game that Sega licensed. But it's an arcade game with frogs that jump on logs and cross roads. And it's got little rhymes between it. It's like, just catch every ant that comes into your sight. Then a passing spider, beware of his bite. Something like that. This has got weird protection as well. It times the amount of time it takes to play a sample, and if it's not correct, it randomly resets. But yeah, this is on Mega Drive type hardware. Although, unlike the actual Mega Drive, this uses external palette hardware, so this has better palette than the Mega Drive too. Although it also has different sound hardware, it doesn't have the Z80. Couldn't be less appealing. The graphics aren't the best, are they? I mean, you can see why it wasn't quite the hit that Frogger was. Look, I'm surprised it didn't just get a cheeky port to the Mega Drive anyway, since the hardware's basically the same. But maybe it was just considered too basic even for, say, Sega. It's not actually that difficult either, I'm just doing really badly. But if you don't like spiders, then it's definitely not with me, is it? The spiders look too good. They are very big spiders. And a bonus round of Touch the Bud. And this frog does sound more like it's on springs than yeah, catch those two bonus points. Maybe they're just really small frogs, I don't know. A river in summer might tempt you to swim, but the goal of the game is not to fall in. Round 4. Fight. Now it's Frogger, yeah, now it's... They should have started with this level, really. Yeah, why did they start with the spiders, not the logs? I mean, this is... Maybe they just didn't want it to be too obviously Frogger. Even got some sort of... I don't know, I'm not sure I'd say fitting music, but... recognisable music. You've actually got to go up and down. It's Maze Frogger. I mean, at least it's not like Lady Frog, where you have to jump in the river, not logs, because the logs kill you. Yes. Go and get the stuff and avoid the tide, basically. Ooh. Nope. Now it's gone to Beach Frogger. Yeah, a bit like Extermination, that's full of bugs and spiders, isn't it? Stay on the log. You don't drown on the log. Uh-oh. Come on, there's something to pick up. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about, the Golden Axe score thing. Scoring, it seems a bit over dramatic, doesn't it? I don't know why frogs are catching crabs on the beach either. Doesn't strike me as a very frog. And that's where there was a trick wave. That's where I died. That sounds like it's going to be Ghostbusters. I'm not sure what this music is right now. Just a chorus of ribbits. Well, this is sound. Okay. Right. After that, let's just play a game that's made for kids. This is Leprechaun. Yes, very, very Sega. Now, I think this had some bug fixes recently too, because it used to crash a bit and it used to corrupt this rainbow a bit and all sorts of other stuff, and I think that got fixed. So I'm going to play it for a bit and see if I can crash it. Go to the treasure. Pull the trees and go to the treasure. Player 1 up somewhere. There's the leprechaun jumping the gold. Forest of cork. I think some trees are good and some are bad. The Forest of Limerick. You can just head straight for the treasure every time. The Forest of Munster. They also made another game called Pirate Treasure, which is very, very similar. The Forest of Jingle. Stop untreeing my trees, you annoying leprechaun. Yes, as far as I know, these were designed for kids. Oh, we're at the Forest of Dongle. Weren't we already here? Have we already looped the game? I don't know why running in trees changes them blue either. Oh, and I got in the corner. That's bad. So, does anybody remember playing Leprechaun back in the arcades? I'm going to assume not, because, well, it's not got the biggest appeal to it. And yeah, they've still got weird things like the Leprechaun erasing the score box there. It just feels like a very poorly programmed piece of software, this. And the bonus counter goes up, and get the treasure. And then we get to draw a rainbow. I think we have to do it all over again. This level we can't leave the edge just because there's a barrier. But we can still just collect lots of treasure and then jump in the pot. Every time you get one of these, the pot of gold becomes worth more and more points. But there doesn't seem to be any increasing level of challenge. This is just the game. In fact, you know, I think Ribbit might have been better. Once you're in your jump animation, the leprechaun can't get you. And back to Limerick. Hey look, it's a game I can play. Yeah, the house transports you to the other house, whatever the two types of house are. Doesn't really matter. There we go, let's get more points. And at some point I should probably just quit this and do something better with my life. So we are coming to 1 hour 53 minutes in the stream. And I don't want to be spending another hour playing this one. Better than Ribbit. I'm not sure it's better than Ribbit. It's a mess. I don't think you get anything if you actually get all the trees either, because I don't think you can get all the trees because the leprechaun just keeps straight chasing you. Oh well, you got me. Well, I'm not dead yet. I've still got another life left. I think this game would have worked with 1 life, maybe 0 lives. You know, like that what is it, hammer, where you can configure it in the service mode to let you have 0 lives. So as soon as you coin it up, it's game over. Is it hammer? It's one of those. I think it's one of those Midas ones. Or you can get to 0-second game time. So again, as soon as you start the game, you run out of time. I do love games that don't bother to limit you to sensible defaults. Oh look, I died. But yes, I believe there were emulation improvements to this at some point in the last couple of months. So if you had a problem with it crashing later on, or Pirate Treasure crashing later on, it might be more stable. I mean, it is 1982, but I don't think I can really let it off on the basis that it's from 1982, because otherwise we'd have to excuse a lot of things. What shall we play? Yeah, let's play Not Awful Shoot 'em Up. Because, you know, why not? Which one, though? I played the one that might be awful. Let's play Valtric from Jellicoe, developed by NMK. Nice rainbow. NMK, you see, number 2. How loud is this? With its SNES-like effect. Not too loud. Do I know how to play Valtric? Nope. Is that going to stop me? Nope. A bit loud. Okay. Try again. Jump apparently. I picked up some parry things and I can spin them around. Ooh, lasers. Pardon me? Probably not one of NMK's better known games. Less traditional. A little bit more tank-like, although it's not tank controls, it's just a joystick and you rotate. I think I lost my power up. And we seem to have robot crabs. Apparently I did a fair way through. Bounce, bounce. Probably not meant to be trying to speed my way through. Probably boss time. Looks like Doe from Arkanoid. Maybe clean out the enemies before the boss appears. Seems like a strategy. Yeah. I don't know what his vulnerable spots are though. Does not feel like it. I can't move any higher on the screen. Do I have a bomb attack too? No. We just have that automatically. Okay, I don't have to damage him. Health? Got no jumps left either. I feel like I'm missing something here. He got bored. He took pity on me because I didn't know what to do. Fight down. Nice soundtrack. It's not got any jumps left. I forgot that. Probably meant to be picking up more power-up things. What's that do? Don't know. More boss. Ooh, fortress. Yeah, I don't think I've actually spent much time playing this one before, because I don't recognise anything that's going on. I think I get this mixed up with the NMK, other game with similar hardware they did for Java, Argus. Not to be confused with the Goat Lead name, the Superman one. Game over. That's the end of Area 1, apparently. Nice fight. Okay, I can continue. I can give that another shot. Oh. I thought I could pick it up because it was red. These turn into nothings. These are my only two pouch I'm allowed here. I'm assuming I just have to get close enough to bomb the targets on the boss here, actually. Yeah, it seems like it. Getting close with this amount of stuff going on is not that easy. It's checkpointed. So I don't think we're going to get past this point. Give me a shield or something. Not for much longer then. Yeah. I don't know if it was leaving the ones I destroyed at least, but tricky, and I'm not good enough at that for now. I'd have to practice that a bit more in my own time and get worse at it before I can play it again reasonably, I think. So, where shall we go now? We've done a few arcade games. Is there anything else on the non-arcade? Let's do a port. Let's do an MSX port. One that maybe slips under the radar. On the MSX, the game called Kung Fu Master is not Kung Fu Master, the arcade. Instead, Kung Fu Master, the arcade was released as this, Seiken Achou, which is definitely Kung Fu Master. This is the MSX2. Just as bad at this version. But yeah. It's a bit weird that Kung Fu Master on the MSX is an entirely different game. And it would be very, very easy to overlook this version. But yes, this is the port of the arcade game. Licensed by Iowa. Ooh. Never been good at Kung Fu Master. All that hugging people do. It's such dangerous hugging. I don't think this is the only game where you can be hugged to death. Apart from maybe games with bears in. I'm not sure there are any games with bears that hug you to death. Take face punch. Ow. Throwing knives is rude. Especially at my ankles. Let's try again. Porter's done my ASCII, I think. So I think I'll do this for 2.5 hours, so we've probably got like another half an hour, 25 minutes left. Was this SNES 21? Yeah. It's strange to think that SNES kind of had that level of NES compatibility, but to a point it did. Yeah, I'm not very good at Kung Fu Master, as you can probably tell. Not the arcade, not this version. The right timing and precision. Otherwise you just get trapped in a loop where... Yeah, that happens. Yeah, games like that where they show one thing on a title screen and then you play as another are a bit strange. Definitely not the only one to do it. But same with the flyers. It's the other thing with Kung Fu Master. If you get too close, your kicks just go through them. You have to do it from the right distance. But yeah, I mean that is basically what Kung Fu Master is. The official version on the MSX, even though it's not called Kung Fu Master. And I guess since we played that, we should just have a quick look at the arcade version. But which arcade version? Which arcade version indeed? Should we have a look at the Tecfri bootleg? So let's have a look at a bootleg of Kung Fu Master, because why not? In this case, a bootleg of Spartan X, which is the Japanese arcade version of Kung Fu Master. Hey Ozzy! Yes, unfortunately, probably for the last 25 minutes, but it's good to see you. But yeah, this is the Tecfri port, well, the Tecfri bootleg, so it's got slightly different sound to the original. They've not got the same sound hardware. I like bootlegs with different sound hardware. But all the hardware here is different. This is not running on hardware that's much like the original arcade board. It's Tecfri's own board, so they've had to rework the game to work with that. That funky bootleg. Stop knifing me. I'm just going to run away from you. That didn't go well. Back to the start. That's the other thing with Kung Fu Master. You die, it's back to the start for you. Fast-paced action is somewhat satisfying, I have to say. But it also means you die very, very quickly. Yes, I think the guys appearing partially at the edge of the screen is probably normal for this bootleg hardware. Rude. So shall we just play the proper version? Actual Kung Fu Master with speech and wah sounds, which the bootleg did not have. I kind of like the bootleg sounds though, I have to say. The bootleg's also slightly faster. Or maybe it's not meant to be, but it's set slightly faster. Cool sound, isn't it? The best sound. You like this one much better than Tecfri bootleg. You don't like the simplified sound. I don't know. Tecfri did some interesting bootlegs like that. There's a Mario Brothers one as well where they've got entirely different sound. But it shows that they put a bit of work into their bootlegs. And I can appreciate that, even if, you know, the original is probably preferable. And it's definitely better than Special Forces. Doesn't know how to attack him. You've got to know his attack pattern and when to attack him, and I never actually learned it. And then you go back to the start of the level, and you have to get there again. So it's one of those where, unless you're using safe states, you've got to get a long way just to try and remember what to do and not do. So back in the arcades, that would have been quite tricky. Yeah, formed in '83, closed on September the 8th, '87. It's a shame, but I think their employees went on to do other things like Galco, didn't they? So it wasn't all a waste. Should we do something a bit French? A bit French. Let's go with Tank Busters by Valadon, a French company. I think I played this before and hated it, so we'll see how it goes. Cheers. 2 buttons and a joystick. Okay. Struggle 1. It refers to the stages as struggles. Or is it just telling me I'm going to struggle? But yeah, you've got one button which rotates your turret in 3 different positions. Not an actual rotate turret button. Just you press one button, it goes between 3 different positions. So there appears to be something stuck on the screen already. That's not clever, good, is it? That went well. Fan gas pie. Let's drive the tank backwards. You can't aim in useful directions. You can just aim slightly to either side, toggling. Yes, it'd be nice to emulate some of those. Gallico dartboards at some point. Right. So yes, you always rotate, and when you actually rotate your tank, your turret rotates back to the center, so you can't prepare in advance. So yes, Fan Gas Pie Joge is still the Fan Gas Pie. I think Bagman is still Paladin's most famous game. And yes, that there just seems to be a sprite that gets stuck. How odd. I suspect not many people have bothered to try and improve the emulation of this one for obvious reasons. It's not. Ugh. Try again. Not even a map, is there? There's Valorant HQ. Can I get in the car park? No, I can't get. Well, car park, tank park. No, I can't. I can't just go in the car park and knock the barriers down. Do I get more oil here? Apparently not. At least not facing that way. And I'm always facing that way. Okay. No, that does not get me more. Oh, I can just pick it up. Okay, I thought I had to park there. On the plus side, that's the longest I've survived in this game. Can I go in here? Yes, I can for no apparent reason. Oh. I'm already out. Run out of fuel again. These tanks don't half burn through fuel. Well, I don't know what my goal is. There's no like mini map, unless it's meant to be one that's not emulated. There's some fuel there. Try it in. It's still low on fuel. It's barely half a tank. The international airport. Are there some tanks for me to bust somewhere? Is some more fuel somewhere? I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm dead. Tank Busters was Valadon's last game, not released in France. Not released in France? That surprises me. They didn't release their own game in France. This is just no known record of it. Okay. Or did they just run out of money and couldn't afford to release it in France? Yeah, this is a struggle, because it says bases 3 at the top, so I'm assuming there's still 3 turrets I have to destroy, but without a radar, how do I know where there's one? Needs a radar. Simple as that. So you don't get fuel for destroying other vehicles. Oh. I mean, it's smooth. It looks reasonable, but it doesn't play especially very well, all that well. There's 4 bases left. Let's get down to 3 then. Try here and get some more. You just have to memorize where everything is, I think. I still didn't get in the high score table. I'll give this one more credit. One more credit. So no, I want to give it a fair chance. But it's a very awkward little game. It's probably needed to start off a bit easier than this. It starts off too difficult. You know, you should have a first level which anybody can complete. So again, I've got a sprite stuck on the screen. Clearly some emulation issue. I got stuck in a corner. I mean, it makes more sense than Taxi Driver, which is another game where you drive it around and to do something. It was right to call the level a struggle. This is a struggle. I've got to find the other... Well, I got it down to one base, but then again, I'm dead. Yeah, there might be another level on that, but I can't get to it. So we will move on once more. We're getting good at moving on. Okay, let's go with this one. Right. Note. Girl pictures off. Also, this has got a hurry up dip switch, which doesn't actually make any sense. Because as soon as you enable that hurry up dip switch to any setting, you instantly get hurry up. You know, all the settings just give you hurry up straight away, which is useless. So don't turn that on. Other than that, it's a Pac-Man type thing, where you run around the maze shooting things. And it's really bad. Now this is one of those where there's a second set in MAME that's only got the graphics ROM dumped, which don't match up with the program ROM we've got. So there must be other boards out there with different program revisions of this that aren't dumped yet. So maybe the hurry up feature would work better on one of those. But as you can imagine, people are not rushing out to buy boards. Is this PP and BB sounds? Actually, yeah, it is, isn't it? I kind of recognise some of them. Naughty tuning. No, the Donnas have been turned off. Shut up, Apploon. I turned them off. The madness is still here, though. Now, I don't know if this was made by tuning or if they just licensed it. Both the sets we've got, the graphics ROMs do have tuning in the graphics. But, as I said, the second set, the tiles all shifted, so they've added or removed a few tiles, which means that that set is obviously meant to be used with a different set of program ROMs that we do not have. So if anybody happens to have a Mad Donna board, it's worth checking the program ROMs on it, just to see if it's the same. Also, if you have a Mad Donna board, I kind of feel sorry for you because, yeah. Well, maybe you collect such things. These enemies lay eggs too, so you have to clear those as well as the dots, because of course you do. So this one, you think you've done the level? Nope. Gotta collect their nonsense as well. So we can continue. Yeah, there's a dip switch there. The girl pictures one turns off the girls. Which does mean, as far as I know, if you use that dip switch, it becomes a family-friendly game. It's got a few elements. It's got these electric bits here that you have to be careful not to get zapped by. If any of them deem it as a game, doubtful. I mean, it's just cheap knockoff Pac-Man style thing, where the only real reason to play it would be to get some poor images. Also, you your regular guns can run out as well as your special guns, and I don't even see where that... Oh, that's probably the meat on the side, isn't it? Something like that. You've got your teleporters, but... yeah. Oh, look, Santa. Probably not going to play too much of this one. Teleports and... Yeah. No, that way. The gun symbol at the bottom is basically your bomb attack, which is the one that goes in both directions. Not your gun, which I think is the power on the left. So even the UI design on this is kind of awful. But what do you expect from random junk? I'm pretty sure I did the emulation of this back in the day too. I don't think anybody's ever thanked me for that, and I don't expect them to. It's not something... But yes, I did used to... I don't know what killed me. Emulate a lot of Tat. I think before Ashes became the king of Tat, I may have had the crown for that in terms of emulating really bad arcade games. But hey, Elliot Washington, thank you for following. Welcome, welcome. You're here for possibly the last 5 minutes of the stream if you're watching. Yeah, hey, hello, welcome, welcome. And say, we're probably ending the stream fairly soon because I've been going on for 2.5 hours. But it's good to have you on board here as a subscriber, so welcome. And if you missed any of it, I will leave the VOD up for catch up. So, what shall we end on? Something good or something bad? It's always a difficult question. I think I'll go with a bit of Taito. Why not? Why not? Why not end on a Taito F3 game? Promat did 96 flag rally. They did. Yeah, I'm assuming that was done by Promat too, but I don't know. I mean, Promat and tuning did work together sometimes, I think. But that has tuning down the side in very visible letters. But maybe there's a Promat version that's not dumped as well. I think there's another tuning version that's not dumped based on those graphics ROMs. But who knows if they'll ever get dumped. So what we have here? It's a volume set. I don't think the volume sound test. There we go. Yes, save the increased volume. So a nice fancy looking Taito shooter. With lots of little visual effects and some dodgy looking pre-rendering. Yeah, when we say pre-render looks bad, that's a good example. Because while the F3 can do plenty of colours, I think it can only do 6 BBP sprites. It can't do 8 BBP, so you're talking 64 colour sprites, so it's not perfect. Still, you can still play the game. And go with Type B. Zoom and fade. Offer. Blend. Helicopters in space. This is another one of those games that may be a little too generic theme for its own good. So you kind of forget what it is. But it's still a fun one. And it's got a really good soundtrack. It's pretty much everything on F3. And it just has some nice visual effects. So you've got one of your typical Taito F3 hardware rotating tubes showing various gaming too. You like that? I'm pretty sure that's one of the things that did improve visually when the recent F3 video and some improvements were done as well. I think before that appeared as flat shaded rather than having the nice coloured face at the edges. So if you've only played with some much older versions of MAME, yeah, there are some visual improvements from back then compared to the versions back then. Designed by former Pro-Plan staff. I've got Aussie guy in the chat. Trying to concentrate a little bit too much to read, but if anything Aussie guy posting in the chat is definitely worth reading. Aussie guy knows his facts about game development and he was aware. Osama Lee Ota, the name of the Turklan staff involved in Aussie guy, or former Turklan staff. Nice bomb effect. Ooh, PC King of South. Nope. But big robots in space that morph. I think morphing is a bit of a theme with this one. You saw it in the intro too. Okay. Mister, I'm going to find my hands at you. Drop them on the planet. And then go into that little warp hole, aren't you? Bye. Yeah, it's a really good soundtrack. I think it's one of the reasons I will come back to this one is just the soundtrack. The first time I played this was when it hadn't got any sound emulation at all. And the video emulation was terrible. It didn't seem anything special, but you know, with the proper video emulation, like all these fading effects here, the soundtrack, it elevates it to something that is much more memorable. Bit of time travel. 1942 again. Did we play 1942 before? I didn't know this. Yeah, an absolutely fantastic soundtrack. I'm not going to play too long on this. I might get to the end of this level, see how far we get on the next credit or two. So I don't like you big bullets. The space helicopters also time travel. They do indeed. They compose the John Sisters, Warner, Twin Hawk, Rally Bike. Yeah, there's some good soundtracks in that lot, Aussie guy. Very good soundtracks. This is a little bit riding tanky, isn't it? It's walking robot. It's got a flamethrower. Long-reaching flamethrower. Okay. Now it's night time. Can't be. Ominous nothingness. Searchlights. I wonder if they're actually meant to double blend. A lot of the time the blending effects, things are meant to double blend, and I could see the spotlight blending the other spotlight there. Interested to see how that looks on original hardware. Let's put another credit for now. But yeah, that would be an interesting study case of how blending effects interact with each other. Real hardware might do differently. Yeah, I'm doing terribly now. Never going to be good at these games. It almost feels like the soundtrack doesn't belong in the game. It sounds movie-like. even just something you listen to out entirely outside of the game. So, Code 2 or Relax 2. The OST is lovely. I mean, the sound hardware on this F3 was every bit as powerful as the system. And, I mean, in terms of emulation, I think the sound hardware is maybe even more costly to emulate than the rest of it, even with all the graphical effects. So we've gone from 1945 to 1999. Wasn't another series that we went from 1942, didn't we? 1999. So 1942 was Capcom. 1999 was a Seiken game. Obviously they came out. Well, 1999 came out after this. Like it's 1990. I wonder why they picked 1999 then. Go green. You can hold fire a little bit on this. But I think my time in this game is coming to an end. Single screen shooter called 1999. Pyramid shaped hover tank. There was Vindicators, which has sort of hover tanks. I'm not sure. It's not coming to mind. Shut up, Atom, if there was. Oh. Ota didn't compose Gekirindan. Oh, just the director on it. So, did they have any say into any sound design, or they even if they're directing it, they may have had say on how the sound went, even if they didn't actually compose it. I don't know. The role of director is not always clear. Yes, there we go. A bit of Gekirindan. And its lovely soundtrack and a nice use of the F3 visuals. Maybe not the best graphics overall, but decent use of the visuals, the effects the hardware can do. And, 99 The Last War. That one. I guess that would be set in 1999 too, would it? I don't know. I know there's a bootleg set of that where it needs a different set of colour prompts, which will probably never be done. No, I should stop staring through the graphics and quit out of that and change to my. This video is almost over. Full screen view, and then see if I can understand how anything works on this. So if I go home, how do I find out who else is streaming? This is interesting. Without it playing my things. Because I believe one thing that is generally encouraged on these streams is raiding. And it appears that Antaeus is streaming, so probably streaming Antstream, but not the biggest stream of not the biggest fan of Antstream here, but I may give him a raid. So hold on. Now I've lost my own dashboard. You can tell I don't do Twitch very often, can't you? That's not what I want to do. That's something else entirely. Create a dashboard. Stream manager. Now I can see the chat again. So, hello everybody. Well, maybe goodbye everybody for now. So, I can see the chat again, which is why I said hello everybody again. But yes, that is the end of the stream. We've done about 2.5 hours. We played a bunch of games across different platforms: arcade, home, handheld. So thank you to everybody who has been chatting away, and I hope I didn't miss too many messages. But yes, we are going to try, if I can find how to do it. Oh, there's an option there. We're going to try and raid Antaeus. So, yeah, Antaeus is going to be doing Arcade, so he'll probably still be playing some arcade games, possibly. And he said it's his streamiversary, so feel free to say hello to Antaeus. We're going to start a raid there, and thank you, everybody. And see you next time. So, I will just click on.